So hi guys, welcome everyone to PiXelateD Creations. So today we're going to see how to put a 3D model or CG model on your video. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into the video. First open your After Effects, go to new project, new composition, give the name of your project. I'm giving tutorial and you can select a various range of FPS from here. I'm just selecting 29.97 and you have to copy this FPS and paste in a notepad or somewhere because we need this FPS value later on this project. Click OK. Now you can import your raw footage from here. Import, drag it to the timeline. Now go to your effects panel. If the effects panel is missing for you, just head over to the windows and you can find effects and presets. Just check it. Now go to effects and presets, search for 3D camera tracker, drag it down to the footage. Let's wait for a couple of seconds or minutes depending upon your hardware. And yeah, here we got some perfect track points. And if you want, you can increase the track point size from here. And if you want, you can adjust your target size to make it smaller or bigger. I'm just resetting it to 100. And yes, we can check our track points. Yeah, we got some perfect points. So if you want, you can select from the target or just simply select one of your perfect frames, hold shift, select your track points, right click and select set ground plane and origin. Now right click one more time and select create solid and camera. Now we got solid layer here. Let's go to first of all click. Now let's check it. Yeah, it's perfect. If you want to double check it, you can go to effect and preset and search for grid effect. Apply to the solid layer, and if you want, you can adjust the grid from the axis given. Now we can check whether it's correct or not. Yep, it's sticking perfectly. Now open your Blender and create a new general file. Click A on your keyboard, delete everything. And for getting this effect, I'm using a plugin called A2Blend, which is a paid software in Blender market. I will give you the link in description. You can check them out. Now go back to the After Effects. Click camera and press U on your keyboard, which will reveal the position and orientation. You have to hold Shift and select both of these and press Ctrl or Command C for Mac users. Come back to Blender. Click the Create Camera button. Now we can see that we got a lot of keyframes. Go just zoom out and go to the last frame and give the ending to the last frame 261. As we can see that it's starting from 0 but the video is starting from 1, so we have to select all the frames by pressing A and press G, move a single frame to the right side, and yeah, it's perfect. And press 0 or click this icon for getting the camera view. Just play it. Now select your camera icon here and come to the camera option. Check the background image, expand it, add image, movie clip, open. Now you have to select the footage we used in After Effects. Click open clip and set the opacity to 1. Now we can see that the camera and the footage is aligning correctly. Now come back to your After Effects. Click your solid layer, expand it, expand the transform layer. Hold shift and select anchor point, position, scale and orientation, the first four one, and press Ctrl or Command C to copy it. Come back to Blender and click create a plane. Now we can see that the plane is aligning perfectly but a small misplace. So select the camera, come to the camera option, and we can see that focal length is 50mm. Come back to After Effects and double click the camera tracker. Now we can see that the focal length is 41.31. Just copy it and paste it here. Now it's perfect. Now if you want, you can expand this in any axis. I'm just expanding a little bit in y axis. Now if you want, you can close the After Effects by Control plus S saving. And I think you guys remember that we copied FPS value. Just check it and come back to camera sorry render properties, output properties, and change the frame rate to the one we copied, 29.97. And yeah, almost our work is done. Now go to your file, import, and you guys can see a lot of formats here including FBS, OBJ, STL, and many more. So for this one I'm selecting GLTF. Select the 3D model or CG model you got, click import, press M and move this card to a new collection. You can name it whatever you want, click OK, and just scale it to your preferred size. Go back to the camera, just a little bit more, come back to camera and switch to the render viewport shading, and go to render properties and change the render engine from EV to cycles. Change CPU to GPU compute, which will use your GPU, and uncheck if the denoise in viewport is checked, just uncheck it. Now for getting the reflection from your surroundings, you have to open your Google Street app and create a 360-degree image, but I can do in this as it is a raw footage from the internet. So I'll just show you a reference. Come to the render tab and come to the world properties and click the yellow dot near the color. Select the environment texture and select your 360-degree image from here. I am selecting a reference image. You have to select your 360-degree image from here. Click open image, and we can see that we got a reflection from here. Just change this to shader editor, change the object to world, and for using the next effect you have to go to edit, preference, and go to add-on and search for node wrangler. By default it will be unchecked, you have to check it, close it, and by selecting this one press Ctrl and T, and we can see that we got some reflection here. Now go to render properties, go to films and check the transparent. By default it will be unchecked, press transparent, and come to and select your base plane, come to the object properties, expand the visibility, and check the shadow catcher, check. Now switch back to your camera tab and you can see that we got the reflection from the world and some shadows. And yeah guys, now if you want you can go to the material tab, select your material, and if you want you can play with your materials to whatever color you want. I'm just resetting it back to normal, change to camera mode, and select your base plane, go to the world properties. Now change the world to object and click on new material, just zoom out it, and you have to import your raw footage to here. Now you have to import your raw footage to this material tab, I mean shading tab. Now connect the color point to the base color. What it does is it will collect the base color, I mean base reflection, and it will reflect it on your car. Now by selecting it press Ctrl and T, Ctrl or Command T, and you have to change the UV to vector to window to vector, and you can see that we got the reflection of the ground whether the car is moving or not. Change it to camera render tab, change the shader to timeline, and just play. We can see that all the reflections are live. Go back to the first frame. If you want you can play with the materials as I said earlier. Go here, if you want you can change the color from here. I'm just selecting it back to normal, If you want, you can increase the metallic for getting a better reflection, reduce the roughness, specular, and increase the metallic. I'm just increasing it in every material. Reduce the specular, reduce the roughness if it's have. If you want, you can adjust the rim too. Reduce. No, for the rim we can keep some roughness as it's a matte finish. Go back, go back to render tab, change the shader to timeline. Oh, sorry, change it to shader. Go back to layout, change to render tab, click the camera and plate. Yes, our work is almost done. Now it's the render part. You can come to the render properties and just copy these settings for better result and fast performance. Come down to render properties. By default it will be 0.01. If you want, you can change it to 0.1 if you have a low spec device. Now if you want, you can go to maximum of 256 samples. I would recommend going maximum up to 256 samples. That will be more than enough, but as it is a tutorial video, I'm going to reduce it to 50 samples. And yeah, check the denoise. By default it will be unchecked. Check it. Change the denoiser to optics if you have a compatible GPU, and change the passes to albedo and normal, and that's it. Now come back to the output properties, render region. It will only render our surroundings, and if you want, you can give the basic, the standard resolution of 1080p, 1920 pixel into 1080p, the frame rate as of After Effects. Come down, select your path where you want to export it, and if you want, you can go with ffmpeg video, which is the mp4 format and other formats, but for this one I'm going to select png, rgba. Color depth, if you want, you can go to 16, but I'm selecting 8-bit. Compression, leave it. Image sequence, yeah, and that's all. Now come to the render properties, come down and select simplify. If you want, you can select it. Not going to make much changes. Come to the performance tab. If you want, you can check the persistent data, but if you are running low on memory, for example if you have 8 GB RAM, just leave it unchecked. Now yeah, it's all done. Now go to render animation. But while rendering, you have to remember one thing. While rendering, you should check that whether any graphics intensity task is running on the background, which can lead to crash or even ruin your project if you don't have any backup or anything, or you saved or anything. Just end task every graphics intensity task and click render animation. I'm not going to do that because I already have a rendered output. Yeah, now come back to Blender, press Ctrl S and save your project, give your name and click save Blender file. Now you can close it. Guys, now you have to open Premiere Pro or any other video editing software you're using, or you can just go to the After Effects and open your previous one. Click new project, give your desired name and click create. Okay, I already have it, and click create. Now you have to import your clips here. Import. First you have to import your raw footage. Click and open. Now right click here and import. You can see that all of PNG files are here, the rendered one from Blender. Click the first frame, check the image sequence and click open. Now drag it one by one to the timeline and make sure that it's matching from the first frame from the start. Yeah, now you guys can see it's matching perfectly. As we can see that the background color and the car is not matching, so we can apply some color effects. Go to the effects panel. If the effects panel is missing, you can go to window and check the effect control and effect from here. Check search for color and select the lumetri color. If you want to go easy, you can go here and go to color tab. We can get the lumetri color directly from here. Just make some adjustment. I have already made some adjustment. I will show you that now. Okay, guys, these are the adjustment I made. I think it almost match with the car now. And yeah, our work is done, guys. I'll share the final output to you right now. So guys, I hope it was easy and clear for you. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the comments, and if you find it useful, please consider dropping a like and subscribe the channel for more creative contents, and share the video with your friends, and follow me on Instagram where you can share your works, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye and have a creative day.